This content is not officially connected to Napoleon Hill or his estate. It is inspired by his teachings and created for educational and motivational purposes only. The voice used is synthesized and does not represent Napoleon Hill. Have you ever stopped to think about why some people seem to have everything under control while others live as prisoners of their own decisions? The answer is not talent, it's not luck, and it's definitely not external circumstances. The truth is much deeper and, at the same time, surprisingly simple. It all comes down to control of your mind. At this very moment, while you're watching this video, there is a silent battle happening inside you. On one side, your dreams, your ambitions, everything you truly want to achieve. On the other side, an invisible force that pulls you back, whispers excuses, and plants seeds of doubt. That force is not external. It lives inside your own mind. And here is the detail that will change everything. Either you learn to master that force, or it will dominate you for the rest of your life. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the world's greatest millionaires and achievers, and he discovered a pattern that repeated itself in every single one of them. It wasn't genius, it wasn't privileged connections. It was something much more accessible, something within reach of anyone willing to apply it. They had learned the secret of making the mind obey their commands. And when you master that power, there is no limit to what you can achieve. In the next few minutes, you will discover exactly how to reprogram your mind, eliminate internal resistance, and create a life where prosperity, discipline, and achievement become inevitable. Before continuing, leave me a comment right now telling me which country you're watching this video from, and write the word discipline to activate the energy of transformation in your life. Think about this exact moment in your life. How many times have you promised yourself that you would start that project, that you would change that habit, that you would finally take control of your destiny? And now, with complete honesty, how many of those promises were abandoned along the way? Don't feel bad about it, because you are not alone. The vast majority of people live trapped in this endless cycle of good intentions, followed by repeated failures. But the question you need to ask yourself is, why does this happen? The answer is as clear as it is shocking. It's not because you lack willpower, it's not because you're weak or incapable. It's because no one ever taught you the fundamental truth about how your mind works. Your brain is not your ally by default. In fact, if you don't learn how to train it, it becomes your greatest enemy. It works like a wild horse that needs to be tamed. If you don't take the reins, it will choose the path, and believe me, that path will always be the one of least resistance, the path of mediocrity, of the comfort zone, of abandoned dreams. Napoleon Hill discovered this after interviewing more than 500 successful men of his time. All of them, without exception, had achieved something extraordinary. They had turned their minds into a precision tool that obeyed their commands. They didn't live at the mercy of their moods. They didn't depend on temporary motivation. They didn't wait for circumstances to be perfect. They commanded, and their minds executed. But how did they achieve this? Here is the secret that changes everything. The human mind works exactly like a garden. If you plant seeds of power, discipline, and abundance, that is what will grow. But if you leave that garden unattended, the weeds of doubt, fear, and procrastination will take over everything. And here is the most fascinating part. Most people never intentionally plant anything in their mental garden. They simply allow any seed carried by the wind to take root. Negative comments from others, failures from the past, inherited fears, limiting beliefs they absorbed without even realizing it. And then they wonder why their lives don't flourish. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what Napoleon Hill intuited nearly a century ago. Your brain creates neural pathways based on what you repeat. Every thought you think, every action you take, is engraving a pattern in your mind. If you constantly give in to laziness, your brain learns that this is normal behavior. If you constantly doubt yourself, your brain builds highways of insecurity. But here is the news that changes everything. Those same pathways can be rewritten. You can literally reprogram your mind to work for you instead of against you. Imagine waking up every morning feeling that your mind is completely aligned with your goals. No internal battles, no mental dialogue holding you back. Imagine having absolute control over your decisions, your actions, your discipline. This is not fantasy. It's not magical thinking. It is the inevitable result of applying the correct principles of mental mastery. Now, here comes something very few people are willing to admit, but that you need to hear. The greatest obstacle between you and everything you desire is not outside of you. It's not economic circumstances. It's not a lack of opportunities. It's not the people around you. The real obstacle is yourself, or more specifically, the untrained version of your mind that you have not yet learned to control. And this is precisely the point where most people give up. They hear this truth and instead of feeling empowered, they feel defeated. They think, if I am the problem, then there is no solution. But they are interpreting everything backwards. If you are the problem, then the solution is also completely in your hands. You don't need the world to change. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need someone else's permission. All the power you need is already inside you. You just need to activate it. Napoleon Hill called this the power of organized thought. This is not about naive, positive thinking. It is something much deeper and more powerful. It is about directing your mind with absolute intention toward a specific goal, day after day, until that goal is no longer just a desire, but an unshakable certainty. Let me explain this with a concrete example that will transform your understanding. When you decide that you are going to achieve something, let's say building financial wealth, your mind immediately begins an internal process. It searches through its archive of memories and past experiences to confirm or deny that possibility. If it finds more evidence of failure than of success, it will automatically activate self-sabotaging mechanisms. Not because it hates you, but because it is programmed to keep you safe, and safe means predictable. It means staying exactly where you are. But here is the master key. When you begin to feed your mind with new references, new thought patterns, and powerful visualizations repeated consistently, you start to overwrite those old files. Your brain begins to look for evidence that confirms your new belief. And here, something extraordinary happens. You begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but that you were unable to see before. You start taking actions that once seemed impossible. Your energy changes, your body language changes, and the people around you begin to treat you differently. Not because you won the lottery, but because you have become a different person from the inside out. Science calls this the reticular activating system. It is the neurological filter that determines which information from the external world deserves your attention. When you program that filter with a clear and powerful goal, your entire nervous system aligns to help you achieve it. Suddenly, casual conversations reveal valuable information. Seemingly random encounters turn into crucial connections. Ideas you could never conceive before begin to flow naturally. Is this magic? No. It is simply your mind operating at its highest potential, exactly as it was designed to function. Now pay very close attention to what I'm about to say, because here lies the difference between those who apply this knowledge and those who simply hear it and forget it. Repetition is the mother of mastery. It is not enough to understand these principles intellectually. It is not enough to feel inspired for a few hours after watching this video. Real change happens when you take these principles and turn them into unbreakable daily rituals. Napoleon Hill expressed it powerfully. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. Read that again. Any idea. This means that if today you feel insecure, you can install confidence. If today you lack discipline, you can program discipline. If today you feel financially limited, you can create a mindset of abundance, but not with a single thought, not with one affirmation spoken without conviction. It requires intentional repetition, charged with emotion, backed by action. Here is the exact process that has worked for millions of people who have transformed their lives. First, you define with absolute clarity what you want. Not vaguely, like, I want to be successful, but specifically, like, I want to build a monthly income of $10,000 within the next 12 months. Second, you write that goal down and read it out loud twice a day, upon waking and before going to sleep. Third, and this is crucial while you read it, You visualize yourself already living that reality, not as something that will happen, but as something that is already yours. Fourth-eyed after that visualization, you take immediate action, no matter how small, that moves you closer to that goal. This simple sequence, repeated every single day without fail, creates a neural pattern so powerful that your mind will have no choice but to obey. Because you will have created a mental groove so deep that it becomes easier to follow that path than to resist it. But here comes the part where most people fail, and I need you not to be part of that majority. The first days will be uncomfortable. Your old mind will resist. It will send you thoughts of doubt, present you with 1,000 excuses to quit, and make you feel ridiculous for talking to yourself in front of the mirror. That resistance is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It is exactly the sign that you're doing something right. It is evidence that you are breaking old patterns and installing new ones. Most people interpret that discomfort as failure and give up just when they are about to cross the threshold of transformation. It's like pushing a massive rock uphill. The first meters are exhausting. Every inch requires maximum effort. But once the rock reaches the top, it begins to roll downhill on its own, gaining speed and momentum. That's how mental reprogramming works. At first, it requires conscious effort, but there comes a tipping point where the new behavior becomes automatic, and when you reach that point, you become unstoppable. Now let me share something Napoleon Hill discovered, and that modern psychology has repeatedly confirmed. There is a monumental difference between desiring something and deciding something. Desire is passive. It is fantasizing. It is waiting for something to fall from the sky. Decision is active. It is commitment. It is burning the bridges behind you. When you truly decide something, there is no plan B, no I'll try, no let's see what happens. There is only one path, forward, until it is achieved. And your mind perceives that difference. When it detects a real decision, it mobilizes all its resources to make it a reality. Think about the moments in your life when you achieved something significant. It wasn't when you vaguely wanted it. It was when you crossed that internal line and decided it would happen no matter what. Maybe it was graduating. Maybe it was getting that job. Maybe it was ending that toxic relationship. In the moment of true decision, something changed inside you. Your posture changed. Your voice changed, your actions changed. That is what you need to bring into every area of your life you want to transform. No lukewarm effort, no half measures. Absolute decision backed by consistent action. Now, there is one additional component that exponentially multiplies the power of everything we have talked about so far. Napoleon Hill called it applied faith. Not necessarily religious faith, although it can include that, but an unshakable belief that what you are doing will produce results. This faith is not blind, it is not naive, it is a faith built on the understanding of the mental laws we are exploring. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You have faith in the natural process. You know that if you water the soil, give it sunlight, and protect that space, the seed will sprout. This is how you must operate with your goals. Once you have planted the clear mental seed, once you are watering it with daily repetition and consistent action, trust the process. Don't sabotage yourself with constant doubt. Don't look for immediate results the very next day. Give time, without ever stopping your part. Now tell me, what is your definite chief aim? Write it down in the comments and truly commit to your transformation. If this video sparked something in you, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that will elevate your mindset. Remember, thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. See you in the next video. Now go out there and conquer. And here is the guarantee I can give you based on the experiences of millions who have applied this. If you do your part, the results are inevitable. Not optional. Inevitable. They may not arrive exactly the way you imagined. The path may have unexpected turns. But if you keep your mind focused and your actions aligned, you will reach your goal, or something even better. Because when you become the kind of person capable of conquering a big goal, you automatically qualify yourself to conquer even greater ones. Now I want you to visualize something with me for a moment. Imagine that 6 months have passed since today. You have applied everything you are learning in this video with absolute discipline. Every morning you have programmed your mind. Every day you have taken actions aligned with your vision. How do you look? How does that version of you walk? How does it speak? What kind of decisions does it make? What level of confidence does it project? That version is not fiction. It is your potential waiting to be activated. And the distance between who you are today and who you will be 6 months from now is not an impossible abyss to cross. It is simply the sum of the right decisions repeated day after day. One powerful thought in the morning, one courageous action during the day, one productive reflection at night. Multiply that by 180 days, and I guarantee you will be unrecognizable. But for this to happen, you need to do something that most people never do. You need to decide now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect. Now. Because the perfect moment is a myth that keeps people trapped their entire lives. Great achievers didn't wait until they were ready. They decided to become ready in the process. There is something deeply liberating that happens when you finally understand that you are not at the mercy of your mind. Your mind is at your command. Most people live their entire lives believing they are victims of their thoughts, slaves to their emotions, prisoners of their patterns. But the revolutionary truth is that you are the architect of your inner world, and therefore of your outer world. Everything that exists on the material plane was first a thought in someone's mind. The building where you live, the phone you're using to watch this video, the clothes you're wearing, all of it began as an idea. If that is true for objects, why wouldn't it be true for your life? Your current financial situation is the result of your past thoughts about money. Your current relationships are a reflection of your beliefs about love and connection. Your physical health is the product of your mental decisions about self-care. I'm not saying we should ignore external factors or real challenges. I'm saying that your mental response to those factors determines your destiny far more than the factors themselves. Two people can face the same adversity. One collapses and the other emerges stronger. The difference is not in the adversity, it is in the mind that processes it. Napoleon Hill studied extensively Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, and dozens of titans of his era. All of them faced monumental failures, crushing rejections, obstacles that would have stopped the average person. But none of them allowed those circumstances to define their destiny. Why? Because they had trained their minds to see every obstacle as a stepping stone, every failure as feedback, every rejection as redirection towards something better. This is not a skill you are born with. It is a skill you develop. And it develops exactly like a muscle in the gym, progressive resistance. You start with small weights and gradually increase the load. In the mental gym, you start by controlling small thoughts, then simple habits, then bigger decisions, until one day you realize you have almost absolute mastery over your mind. But here comes an uncomfortable truth you need to accept if you want real results. This process is not optional if you want greatness. You cannot have an extraordinary life with ordinary mental habits. You cannot build wealth with a scarcity mindset. You cannot achieve high performance with mediocre thoughts. The equation is simple. High-level thoughts produce high-level results. Low-level thoughts produce low-level results. And here is the part many prefer not to hear. You cannot cheat this system. You cannot pretend to think big while internally doubting. You cannot affirm abundance while your actions scream fear and limitation. Your subconscious mind detects the incongruence and simply does not execute. It's like trying to accelerate a car while simultaneously pressing the brake. The engine makes noise, but you don't move. That's why internal coherence is fundamental. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions must be in perfect alignment. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. When you affirm a belief of power, you act with power. When you visualize success, you move like a successful person. This coherence sends an unmistakable message to your subconscious mind. This is who I am now. And when your subconscious accepts a new identity, it reorganizes your entire reality to match it. This is what people call transformation. It's not that you change a habit here and there. It's that you become a completely different person, operating from a higher level of consciousness. And from that new level, What once felt difficult becomes natural. The opportunities you once couldn't see become obvious, and the results that once seemed impossible become inevitable. Now let me ask you something with complete honesty. How much longer are you going to postpone your greatness? How many more years are you going to settle for a fraction of what you could be? How many more opportunities do you need to let pass before you decide that enough is enough? I'm not judging you. I'm challenging you, because I know that inside you there is dormant potential waiting to be awakened. There is a version of you that is brave, disciplined, unstoppable. That version is not in some distant future. It is here now, waiting for you to make the decision. The decision to stop being a spectator of your own life and become the absolute protagonist. The decision to stop blaming circumstances and start creating new circumstances. The decision to stop wishing and start building. And that decision does not require having everything figured out. It does not require knowing every step of the path. It only requires that you take the first step with total conviction. Because here is the secret that changes everything. The path reveals itself as you walk it. You can't see the entire staircase from the bottom, but when you step onto the first step, the next one lights up. Napoleon Hill explained it perfectly. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. There will always be reasons to postpone, always fears to justify, always external and internal voices trying to convince you that this is not your moment. But those who conquer do not wait for the perfect moment. They create the perfect moment with their decision to act. And here is something fascinating that happens when you finally decide to truly commit. The universe conspires in your favor, not necessarily in a mystical way, but in a practical one. When your mind is truly focused on a goal, your reticular activating system begins filtering relevant information. Conversations you once ignored now capture your attention because they contain clues. People who were always there suddenly seem to have exactly the knowledge or connection you need. Ideas that were floating in your subconscious emerge with perfect clarity right when you need them. This is not coincidence. It is a focused mind operating at its highest potential. It is what people call being in flow, in the zone, in sync with life. And when you enter that state, progress accelerates exponentially. What would have taken years is achieved in months. What seemed to require massive resources is accomplished with minimal resources applied intelligently. Because it is not the amount of resources that determines the result, it is the quality of the mind directing those resources. A person with a focused mind and $10 can create more than a person with a scattered mind and $1 million. The difference is not in the money, it is in the ability to direct, focus, and multiply what you have. And that ability is developed exactly as we have been discussing: clear decision, daily repetition, consistent action, unshakable faith. Now I want you to understand something crucial about the process you are about to begin. It will not be linear. Some days you will feel like you are flying, other days you will feel like you are moving backward. This is completely normal and part of the process. Real transformation is never a straight line upward. It is more like an ascending spiral, where sometimes it seems you are facing the same challenges again, but in reality, you are facing them from a higher level of awareness. Every time you overcome an internal resistance, you climb one step. Every time you choose the right action over the comfortable one, you strengthen your willpower muscle. Every time you hold your vision despite external evidence that seems to contradict it, you expand your capacity for faith. And all of this accumulates, not obviously in the short term, but undeniably in the medium and long term. It is like investing with compound interest. In the first months, the returns seem insignificant, but after a certain critical point, growth becomes exponential. Your job is to reach that critical point, not to quit early, not to give in to the temptation to return to old patterns just because results are not immediate. To trust the process, knowing that every day of discipline is a deposit into your destiny account. And one day, perhaps when you least expect it, everything changes. Not gradually, but suddenly. All the accumulated work produces a quantum leap in your results. And when that moment comes, the people around you will say you were lucky, that it was your time, that circumstances aligned. But you will know the truth. You will know it was your mind obeying your commands day after day, even when no one was watching, even when there was no external evidence of progress. That is the power of mental mastery. It creates results that others can only attribute to external forces because they cannot see the internal work that produced them. Now, before we move to the next level of this teaching, I want you to do something powerful. Close your eyes for a moment and take 3 deep breaths. With each exhale, release a limiting belief that has been holding you back. It might be, I am not enough. It might be, money is hard to earn. It might be, I don't deserve success. Whatever it is, identify it and consciously let it go. Now, on your next inhale, fill that empty space with a new powerful truth. I am capable of achieving anything I focus my mind on. Money flows to me with ease. I deserve abundance in all areas of my life. Feel that new truth, not just as words, but as certainty in every cell of your body. This simple yet profound exercise is an example of real-time reprogramming. And you can do it anytime, yes, anywhere. Transformation does not require special conditions. It requires consistent intention. Now you are ready for the next level of understanding that will divide your life into a before and an after. There is a force within you that is more powerful than any external obstacle you may face. This force does not depend on your current circumstances, does not depend on your formal education, does not depend on your past. It depends on only one thing, your decision to activate it. Napoleon Hill called it the power of burning desire. Not a lukewarm or casual desire, but a desire so intense that it becomes constructive obsession. When you have a desire of this magnitude, something extraordinary happens in your neurophysiology. Your brain begins to create what neuroscientists call goal maps. These are like internal blueprints your mind uses to navigate toward your objective. Every thought aligned with that desire strengthens the map. Every consistent action makes it clearer and more detailed, until a point is reached where your subconscious knows the path so well that it begins guiding you automatically. You start making the right decisions without conscious effort. You naturally avoid distractions. You begin attracting the right resources and people as if an invisible magnet were operating. This is not wishful thinking. It is applied neurology. Your brain is designed to move you toward whatever you consistently focus on. The problem is that most people never give their brain a clear, sustained goal long enough for this mechanism to fully activate. They change goals every week, get distracted by every new trend, divide their mental energy in 1,000 different directions, and then wonder why they achieve nothing significant. It is like asking a GPS to take you to a different destination every 5 minutes. You will never arrive anywhere. But when you define a clear goal, when you hold it in your mind with unbreakable consistency, when you reject every distraction that does not bring you closer to it, you activate your brain's laser focus mode. And in that mode, you are practically unstoppable. Now here comes a crucial distinction that Napoleon Hill made, and that modern psychology has confirmed. There is a monumental difference between being interested in something and being committed to something. Being interested means you will do it when it is convenient, when you feel motivated, when it does not require much sacrifice. Being committed means you will do it no matter what. You will find a way. You will pay the necessary price. The interested person finds excuses. The committed person finds solutions. The interested person waits for the best moment. The committed person creates the moment. The interested person gives up at the first real obstacle. The committed person sees every obstacle as training to become stronger. Which category are you in when it comes to your most important goals? Answer with brutal honesty, because your answer predicts your future with scientific precision. If you are only interested, you will get mediocre or non-existent results. If you are truly committed, you will get extraordinary results. It is law, not opinion. Now let me share something very few people understand about the nature of true commitment. It is not something you feel, it is something you decide. You do not wait to feel committed enough. You decide to be committed and act from that commitment even when you do not fully feel it yet. And here is the magic. When you act from commitment, the feeling eventually aligns with the action. But if you wait to feel it first, you may never act. That is why masters of mental mastery operate from decision, not from emotion. They use emotion as fuel when it is available, but they do not depend on it. Their discipline is independent of their mood, and that is what makes them unbeatable. Now imagine for a moment how your life would change if you applied this level of commitment to just one goal over the next 90 days. Not 3 goals, not 10 different things. One clear objective to which you dedicate your best mental energy every single day, visualizing it upon waking, acting toward it during the day, reviewing it before going to sleep. What would happen? I'll tell you exactly what would happen. In 30 days, you would see tangible results that reinforce your belief. In 60 days, the momentum would be so strong that it would be harder to stop than to continue. In 90 days, you would have created a new identity. You would no longer be someone who is trying to achieve something. You would be someone who achieves what they set out to do. And that new identity would become your greatest asset for everything that comes next. Because once you prove to yourself that you can master your mind and create results in one area, you know with absolute certainty that you can do it in any area. That confidence is not arrogance, it is empirical knowledge of your personal power. And when you operate from that knowledge, your energy changes, your presence changes, and the results you attract change. You become the kind of person others look at and say, "I wish I had what they have," without realizing that what you have is something they can also develop: mental mastery.